I am Spider-Man. You are Spider-Man. We are Spider-Man. And don't you get it? That's kind of the point. You see, Spider-Man was never about the power. Sure, that's cool. But Spider-Man was always about something so much more than that. Without a doubt, Tobey Maguire is the greatest Spider-Man, and he might be perhaps the greatest superhero actor to ever take on one of these live-action comic book roles. These Sam Raimi movies starring Tobey Maguire seem to capture the quintessential Spider-Man spirit that no other movie has been able to capture since, except for maybe Into the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse. But why is that? What did Tobey Maguire and Sam Raimi get right that so many other people got wrong? Well, today, that's what I'm going to be taking a look at in this video. Today, I'm going to be explaining why Tobey Maguire is without a doubt the best Spider-Man.
Who am I? You sure you want to know? The story of my life is not for the faint of heart. If somebody said it was a happy little tale, if somebody told you I was just your average, ordinary guy, not a care in the world, somebody lied.
I think we need to start with the obvious. Honestly, Peter Parker has been an issue that movie studios have been dealing with ever since these movies came out, because ever since the last Spider-Man movie that Tobey Maguire was in, no one really has known how to write Peter Parker. They made him a cool skateboarder in the Amazing Spider-Man films, and then of course they made him Iron Boy Jr. in the MCU. So, I think I should start by talking about Tobey Maguire's incredible performance as Peter Parker. It's nothing short of remarkable. His portrayal goes beyond the surface, delving into the complexities of the character. Maguire successfully navigates the challenges of a teenager grappling with the responsibilities of being a superhero and the trials of someone who's still going in their adolescence, and then through the later movies, somebody who's trying to become a young adult, somebody who's trying to navigate the world for the first time. And that's very relatable for a lot of people who were watching this movie, especially if you watch them now as an adult. I think you can really appreciate just how much these movies focused on creating Peter's persona outside of Spider-Man and just how hard his life was. Because that's what makes Spider-Man relatable, is the trials and tribulations he goes through, not as a superhero, but as a normal person, as a man. Because, like Stan Lee said, sometimes we don't all get the girl, sometimes we have money troubles, and Peter Parker has all of those things.
There was Captain Marvel and Superman and Batman and Green Lantern. And all those people were all perfect, right?
Well, they were perfect in the sense of the characters they were portraying, but
just a superhero. He's a person with genuine struggles and emotions. This adds depth and a layer of authenticity to his character, resonating with the audiences on a profound level, the same way that Stan Lee was able to connect with audiences all the way back in the days. It's this nuanced portrayal of Peter Parker that sets Tobey Maguire apart from the other Spider-Men. Now let's take some time to talk about that suit. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man costume has a timeless quality that has stood the test of cinematic evolution. The suit's classic design, with its bold red and blue color scheme and iconic 3D web pattern, remains one of the enduring symbols of the character. Maguire seamlessly embodies the essence of Spider-Man when he dons the suit, creating a visual spectacle that resonates with both comic enthusiasts and general audiences. Beyond its aesthetic appeal, the suit has become a powerful storytelling tool. Maguire's physical presence allows the suit to convey the transformation of a young man into a superhero with great responsibility. The suit in the hands of Tobey Maguire becomes a visual representation of the enduring spirit of Spider-Man, solidifying its status as one of the most iconic superhero costumes in film history.
The Spider-Man that Jim Atchison created for this movie is very similar to the one he created in the first movie. At least it will seem that way to the audience.
This second costume, while it has details that are different, and the colors are slightly different, I mean, you need to be a real enthusiast to spot the differences. It's a great opportunity to have a go at something again. I mean, this costume was probably the most difficult thing I've ever. It should look very simple and slightly naive. Here we were trying to do something which was about really an acrobat who had this unbelievable kinetic, spiraling ability. So it had to be a very flexible thing. We went through a huge, long, circular trip in terms of developing the costume of Spider-Man. And over a 6-month period, we came back to believing that we had to sort of respect the icon. And in fact, the closer and more truthful we were to the image of Spidey, as long as it moved properly and it didn't wrinkle too much, and the stuntmen were able to do their somersaults and the CGI people could recreate it, then that was the way to go.
Despite how incredibly complicated it actually was to create the suit behind the scenes, it still comes out looking believable that a teenager could make this in his bedroom. And that's something that, we have seen a lack of Spider-Man having in recent years, especially in the MCU. So thankfully, it seems like the MCU Spider-Man is going back to its roots, taking a cue from Tobey Maguire, and finally having their Spider-Man make his own costume as well. And again, this just goes back to that relatability aspect of Peter Parker. Peter Parker is a guy without a lot of money, who's down on his luck, who has to make his own suit, who has to sew his own costumes when they rip. That's Spider-Man. In Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man films, they show us that, and they show us it in depth with passion, and it is just so amazing to see this costume on the big screen, especially when it reflects the iconic essence of Spider-Man so clearly. No discussion about Tobey Maguire's era of Spider-Man would be complete without acknowledging the iconic villains that he faced. Maguire's Spider-Man movies introduced some of the most memorable adversaries in superhero cinema. From Willem Dafoe's chilling Green Goblin to Alfred Molina's tragic Doc Ock, these villains were not just antagonists, they were complex characters with their own stories and motivations. These villains contributed significantly to the emotional depth of these films, challenging Spider-Man both physically and emotionally. Maguire's interaction with these formidable foes showcased his character's growth and resilience, making the battles that he faced not only visually spectacular, but also narratively compelling. The presence of these iconic villains added layers to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man saga, solidifying its status as a classic in the superhero game. I mean, I think the villains are probably one of the best parts of these movies. Absolutely, the villains are absolutely a highlight of these films. There's a reason that in No Way Home, most of the villains they brought back ended up being from Tobey Maguire's era. I think also there is the fact that these villains are portrayed so beautifully by their actors. As we mentioned, Willem Dafoe, he's just amazing in everything he's in. But even when we go to Topher Grace with his version of Eddie Brock, I thought that was a pretty decent foil for this version of Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker Spider-Man. So all of the actors and all of the villains that they end up portraying in the series, it's amazing. They come off great, and I think that in no small part it is these villains that help to create such spectacular films.
Everyone say their favorite Spider-Man. All right? 1, 2, 3.
Tobey Garfield.
What? Are you kidding me? It's not even close. There'd be no Spider-Man movies without Tobey Maguire. In fact, there'd be no superhero movies without Tobey Maguire.
Do you remember that iconic upside-down kiss in the rain? Or the breathtaking train scene in Spider-Man 2? Perhaps it was Bully Maguire's dance walk scene. Either way, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man gave us some of the most memorable moments in cinematic history. These scenes are not just visually spectacular, but they carry emotional weight and contribute to the character's enduring legacy. Maguire's ability to bring these iconic moments to life is an example of his commitment to this role and to this character. Whether it is the charming wit that he has during the interactions with Mary Jane, the gravity-defying stunts while web-slinging through the city, Maguire is able to embody Spider-Man in a way that lingers even still in the minds of fans. These moments have become incredible, indelible images of the Spider-Man mythos, solidifying Tobey Maguire's portrayal as the benchmark for this character. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man trilogy wasn't just a success. It was a cultural phenomenon that reshaped the landscape of cinema as we know it today. The impact of these films can be measured not only by box office numbers, but also in the lasting influence on the Spider-Man franchise. Maguire's Spider-Man set the standard for what a superhero movie could achieve, paving the way for the genre's continued success. The success of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's movies have marked a turning point in the superhero genre's acceptance as mainstream entertainment. The trilogy's popularity not only revitalized interest in Spider-Man, but also contributed to the broader acceptance of comic book movie adaptations. Tobey Maguire's legacy is not confined to his time in the Spider-Man suit. It's a cultural impact that continues to shape the way that we perceive and celebrate these superheroes on the big screen. His role was more than just a role on screen. It was more than just another character. This was a turning point in the cinema history, and it is truly astounding to me that so many people forget and look over just how much these movies changed the landscape. Of course, a big part of this was the brilliant director Sam Raimi and everything that he brought to this movie. But I don't think that it could have been done the way it was without Tobey Maguire's amazing performance.
First I heard about Spider-Man. It sounded interesting to me, but only if it was done the right way, like done in a way that would excite me, in a classy way with a good filmmaker and a good story and a good cast.
When I first heard about Spider-Man, I was like, oh my god, like what a cool character to do, because Spider-Man's, a more humanistic superhero, so I feel like a lot of people can identify with him, and it's a good story as well as all the action.
What happens to the people in the story is quite involving. Spider-Man is about extraordinary things happening to regular people.
The strength of Spider-Man, for me, has always been the fact that he's a real person. He's one of us who's gone through elementary school, junior high school, and now high school. So he has absolutely our frame of reference on things. He can't get the girl, he's broke, and suddenly he's this superhero.
Going back to what I meant at the beginning of the video when I said we are Spider-Man. Well, to me, Spider-Man's villains and his powers, those things, yes, of course, they look cool in the comic pages and on the big screen. But to me, they're symbolic of the real-life issues that we all face. That's what his villains are symbolic of. The real-life struggles that we go through. Even though that they seem very unique to us and very grand, everyone experiences these challenges. Along with that, you also have his very real challenges that we also all relate to, the real things that we already know about, his money struggles, not getting the girl, etc., etc. And the powers, to me, I believe are representative of the skills and unique personalities and the unique way that each of us handle our problems. All of us handle things differently. We all have our own skills, our own strengths and weaknesses. And to me, that's what his powers represent. It's not necessarily the web slinging that we have when I say we are Spider-Man, but we do all have our own powers, our own skills, in our own certain way. And it's our responsibility to use those great powers that we have for good. With great power comes great responsibility. That's the lesson of Spider-Man. And I think that is one of the reasons he is so iconic and so impactful, these films aside. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is more than just a superhero on screen. It's a cultural phenomenon. His portrayal has captured the hearts of fans and left an enduring legacy. Do you agree that Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man? Let me know down in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Until next time, I've been Doc, and you're watching Heroic Tales TV.